Welcome to Orthodontic Smiles, the podcast designed for all dentists and their staffs who practice orthodontics. This podcast is brought to you by the American Orthodontic Society. With innovation, quality, patient comfort, and efficiency as their goal, Henry Schein Orthodontics has once again achieved a new and exciting breakthrough in aligner therapy, introducing a clearly different aligner system, a comprehensive aesthetic solution for adults and teens. The SLX Clear Aligner System is uniquely clear, provides an excellent fit, and offers numerous treatment and workflow efficiencies. With over 50,000 patients treated with this innovative aligner technology, doctors and patients can be confident in the SLX aligner performance for a full range of minor, moderate, and comprehensive treatments. Jumpstart your SLX cases with the Carrier Motion Appliance to provide the most efficient and aesthetic treatment solution available. For more information, contact your Henry Schein representative or email aligners@henryschein.com. Well, welcome to Orthodontic Smiles podcast. Today I happen to be in Dallas, Texas at the strategic planning meeting of the American Orthodontic Society with all the board members. And I thought it would be a great opportunity for us to get a chance to say goodbye to our executive director of over 23 years and hello to our new executive director who takes the reins of the American Orthodontic Society. So, Colonel Tom Chapman, you have been the director of this organization for 23 years, and you came to us from the United States Air Force. You have done a magnificent job of steering this organization through thick and thin. Thank you so much for doing that.
Well, thank you, Ed. I appreciate that a great deal. As all but anybody, any leader of any organization will always tell you, whether it's military, dentistry, civilian, or wherever it is, they're going to tell you that they don't get where they are without the great support of people that they have worked with. And that's no different here than it was in my Air Force days. Tremendous staff people that I've worked with, tremendous directors, you being one of them, certainly, Ed. It's been a tremendous experience for me, a great learning experience in dentistry, which I had no knowledge of, nonprofits, which I had no knowledge of, education I had some knowledge of, and leadership and management I had some knowledge of.
Well, you sure learned dentistry. I was listening to you today. You sounded like you could treat an entire orthodontic case based on all you've learned over the years. And you have worked with a lot of people. It's been a lot of board members that you have had to interact with, and there's not one of them that I know that didn't come away from having a great experience with you and your job. So that's very commendable. There's not too many people that can say that. You haven't pissed off a bunch of people over the years.
Well, the life expectancy of an executive director who works for a board of directors is probably about 5.2 years.
Well, you've done 23 years of this, so that goes to show you how good you are.
Well, it's not just that, Ed. It's communicating with people and showing respect for people, because probably 250 directors have come through here over these years in some form or capacity, plus instructors. And I think the secret to whatever I may have had was understanding how to communicate with people and showing the respect. And sometimes, P, you have a little bit of trouble finding the good in people. That hasn't happened very often, but I always have found the positiveness in people throughout.
Let's take it back just a little bit. I remember you coming to the organization 23 years ago, and we've known each other. We've become very good friends over the years. How was that organization when you first started?
Disorganized.
Disorganized, yes. I remember that very well. We needed somebody with your capacity to be able to bring this organization back on its feet back then. But what did you start off with?
How did I handle it from the beginning?
Yeah.
Well, the very first thing I did would have been the same thing I did in the Air Force, and I've told people this before. You know who you work for. And so you don't pursue your agenda, you pursue their agenda. And so the very first thing I did, and Ed, you were at the meeting, the very first board meeting I had, I'd been on board for 2 months. Mm-hmm. And the board met, and I asked the board point blank, what are your top 5 or 6 priorities that you want me to work on right now? And you ticked them off. And you, Ed, you had a couple of them too. There was a video we'd never been able to do. There was a website that had never been stood up. And it looked like low-hanging fruit for me. So I've always believed if you grab projects and get them done, the easier ones first that your boss wants done, you've built up some pretty good equity for the future when things don't go well.
Well, I think one of the prime things way back then that we started off with was getting a website. Neither one of us really even understood what a website was 23 years ago, if you think about it. But they told us that we needed a website and we needed a domain name. And sure as heck, we went out into the digital world and found the domain name of orthodontics.com. Can you believe it that a general practitioner based organization that teaches orthodontics has the domain name and has had it for this many years of orthodontics.com. So anybody that just types in orthodontics into your computer is going to come up with the American Orthodontic Society name.
You're going to come close on it, that's correct. And that domain, I didn't realize it at the time, it was also a .com, and most nonprofits are .orgs. So a domain of orthodontics.com I've always felt was a very positive domain, and I get from time to time calls over the years, we'd like to purchase it. Would you sell your domain for $5,000? My standard answer is my domain's up for sale for $1 million.
It's true. Somebody in orthodontics might buy it one day.
Well, I went out several years ago and got 6 other domains just in case that person comes along that wants to give us $1 million.
Yeah. Well, back that many years ago, we were blessed to have Bob Garrity as our primary senior instructor who put most of the courses on. And tell us how it was back then. I mean, we were really raking in the students and teaching a lot of orthodontics back then. How's that changed over the years?
It's changed over the years very clearly because there's more options for the general dentist today. And as we've talked in a group before, 25, 30 years ago, when a general dentist wanted to go out and stretch beyond normal general dentistry work, there wasn't a lot of options. So when individuals started sharing their knowledge, and Bob Garrity was one of those sharing his knowledge, he was also a very good speaker and very charismatic. And so people flocked to his courses. The GPs, everybody wanted to learn orthodontics. Today, a lot still want to learn orthodontics, no doubt about it. The nature of orthodontics is evolving. There's a lot of clear aligner therapy that's being used, which is different than comprehensive orthodontics. But more importantly, there's more options. Implant courses are growing. Laser courses are growing. Various cosmetic dentistry courses are growing. There is so many options out there for the GP that we have to continue to evolve our courses to be competitive.
One of the things that I always focus on, and I think is has been a bit of a detriment to getting students to come into our courses, is their debt. When they get out of dental school, many of them, up to $300,000 in debt. It's very hard to get into a practice that you probably don't own and have to start paying back that loan. There's hardly a time or an ability to be able to go to courses and learn something like orthodontics when you've got something looming over you for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Trying to start a family, trying to build a practice, it's very, very difficult. And I think that with time, as they get older, they will see the need for adding something like orthodontics to their practice and seek us out. And that's what we want to do. That's the future of our organization, is building a platform where someone can find us easily and come to our courses and learn orthodontics the way it was meant to be taught and the way it was meant to be practiced by the general practitioner and the pediatric dentist. So you've been through several major senior instructors. Unfortunately, we lost Dr. David Jackson after Dr. Garrity passed, and as well, and that really set us back a bit because of the closeness of their both passing. But now we've got a great senior instructor who's teaching the primary course, which is Dr. Brad Williams. Of course, we have other courses that we offer by other instructors, but that's the premier. You've got to take that course to really learn it and understand it. And he does a fantastic job of teaching for the American Orthodontic Society. So what are your plans for the future?
Well, that's the transitional phase is interesting, of course, because I've got a lot of energy. I've got a lot of interest still in dentistry. I'm serving currently as, I guess, in a consultative role, working for the new executive director. I know I've already got a couple of other volunteer positions. I volunteered to teach courses for the Center for Nonprofit Management downtown Dallas and a couple of other organizations. And in time, I will find that niche where I want to fit. It will not likely be full-time employment, and it probably will not result in a lot of pay, period.
Yeah, I know you've got a couple of grandchildren, and I'm sure you were itching to spend some more time with them.
Well, yeah, the grandson's up in Colorado, so it would be very helpful to be able to be a little more free to do that as well. I'm making quite a sports fan out of him, and I have to keep that fed.
Yeah, those are times that if you don't do it, the time passes and you never go backwards.
I told the Air Force when I retired at my retirement ceremony, I told the gathering of 200 people that were there that, like Tommy Lasorda said when he retired from the Dodgers, I will always bleed Dodger blue. And I told him I will always bleed Air Force blue. And I'm not sure what I'm going to bleed in dentistry, but it's always going to be in my blood.
That's for sure. It's hard to get us out of your head. After 23 years of putting up with this organization, for sure, you'll always be remembered, and you will always remember us. So we want to thank you so much, Tom.
Thank you very much.
It's
been an honor.
It's been an honor for us, actually, being honest with you, to have you with us, because you've done such a magnificent job. Well, we've got a new successor. Well, Tom, now as you are departing the scene of the American Orthodontic Society board, has hired on a new executive director. And it's someone that we've known for 15 years, but I'll let you introduce her as our new executive director.
Well, it's been almost 16 years ago that I had a need for a top administrative assistant. I found Barabra. I believe she was the person for the job. That was almost 16 years ago. She's the finest administrator that I've ever worked with, Air Force or civilian world. And so it was an easy recommendation and decision for the board to elevate her into the position of executive director for the American Orthodontic Society. I believe she'll do an outstanding job. She has been my steady right arm for many, 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 many years, giving me lots of guidance and telling me when I was wrong oftentimes, and she was usually correct about that. She has a background in banking, which has helped her with the financial end of this. She's done a great job with the continuing education programs that we have, and our continuing record, our CE programs, specifically the American Dental Association Continuing Education Recognition Program, is one of the best in dentistry, and that lies at her feet. So I know that going forward, we've got great leadership.
Well, Barbara Zuniga, welcome to the American Orthodontic Society's new position for you as Executive Director. You've been with us for 15, 16 years.
It'll be 16 April 19th.
That's great. I mean, I was in the board meeting when they chose you as the new Executive Director, and I tell you, there was not one person that even brought up another name. You were unanimously brought in to be the Executive Director. There was just no question you were going to get the job. Absolutely. So welcome.
Thank you.
So
I'm honored and flattered.
Well, wonderful. Give us a background of you so we know a little bit about you. I know you were in banking.
I was in banking for over 26 years, and then I went to work for a reinsurance company, and then found the opening for the administrative position. So I applied, and Tom was gracious enough to hire me, and I've been with you guys ever since. And I think my banking career, the customer service industry of that really helped me, because it helped me work with you dentists and help with your CE journeys. And I just enjoy working with all of you. You've been a joy.
Well, you definitely have been the administrative arm of this organization. Prior to being now appointed as Executive Director, what were your tasks mostly with the organization? I mean, you had to do with the ADA. You were our key person working with the American Dental Association, but it was mostly about CE, correct?
It was. It was mostly about the course preparation and the CE letters for the doctors, and keeping up with the sign-in sheets whenever they attended courses, mainly meeting their needs.
The SERP requirements.
Yes.
To be able to be an organization that can issue continuing education to our members.
Yes. The American Dental Association has standards and guidelines that you need to meet in order to have that approved credential, continuing education recognized provider arm. And there's a lot of steps and a lot of things that you have to follow through. You have to make sure that your marketing pieces meet their guidelines. You have to make sure, even down to the CE letters that are sent out, have the same criteria. They're very specific on what is required. The purpose is to keep the dental arm separate from the AMA arm. They want to be able to continue as a dentistry organization without the federal arm coming in.
Well, I can tell you, you've been like a mother hen about the SERP recommendations. I mean, if we do anything that even looks like it might be not accepted by the ADA, you're all over us to make sure that doesn't happen, because that's an important thing for us to have. And you realized it from the start, and you've been right there for us to make sure we never lose it, and it's always been accepted. So, which is a really, really good thing. But I have to thank you personally, because I've got a little bit to do as the Executive Director of the Academy of Diplomates. I tell you, you have been the administrative arm of that organization as well. So you make sure that everybody understands what the requirements are, and then you see to it that they have filled out those requirements. And that's the only way that I know as Executive Director whether or not these students have met the requirements and are now available for issuance of their diplomate status. So I got to thank you for that too, because you've made it really, really easy for me. I'm busy enough than to have to worry about whether or not there's 150 or 149 hours of credit for somebody to apply. So what do you think the future holds for you? What's your goals and aspirations for the organization? I know every executive director that comes in has certain topics that they want to complete. We've been going through the strategic planning. I know you've been sitting there with your ears open, make a determination about what you think is most important. From the topics of today, what do you think?
I know the market is going more digital because we do want to reach out more to the younger dentists coming out of school that are wanting to build their platform of what they can offer in their offices. We want to start getting away from paper mailings and enhance our website. One of our goals, or one of my goals, is to see that happen.
Well, one of the things we talked about was to have online courses,
Yes.
and that you're going to be really, that's going to be a challenging issue for you, I think. But it's I think the way that because of these students who can't leave their offices to come to our courses, we've got to start thinking about putting our courses online. That's going to be an administrative job for the new executive director, and I don't envy that job, I tell you right now, but I think it's going to be challenging, but boy, if we can pull that off, I think it'd be really something special.
I do too. And the benefits of being here so long and working with the dentist, knowing already what we do, it just makes the steps into the executive director role easier, because I've seen where we've been, I have seen the improvements we have made, and now I can take that basket of learning I have gained and now step it up a notch.
Absolutely.
And reach out beyond what we've done in the past.
Have you been prepared for this job over these past 15 years? Do you feel like it's second nature to you, or is it something that you look at as something that you've not done before and is a real challenge to you?
That's a fair question. It's definitely a new role. I always laughed that Tom and I would retire at the same time. I never envisioned him retiring, but he's given me great leadership skills. He's given me guidelines and path directions that will help me with this new role.
Yeah, the buck stops here.
Exactly.
Now. I mean, there's no more going to Tom and asking him, what do you want to do? You're going to have to make that decision.
I'm the one making that decision.
Well, he may have 1 or 2 months left in his consulting job, but then it's all yours, Barbara, all yours. And that's going to be a fun time for you, I think. But I think you can count on the board. I know you can count on me, but I think you can count on the board to give you all the support you need in this journey of yours. And hopefully you get a 23-year job just like Tom did. I mean, that's pretty good. And you're right. I mean, executive directors on an average are 5 or 6 years in their job, and then somebody seeking out somebody else. But your predecessor really topped them all at 23 years, and we sure as heck hope to keep you that long already. You've been here 16, so that's pretty good.
Yes.
So I really can't wait for you to really take the reins and take over this organization. I know you're going to do really, really well. I've been very supportive of you because I think you've got all that you need. Talk to me about vendors. We know the American Orthodontic Society has some really, really good vendors that we deal with on an ongoing basis.
Yes.
How do you propose to keep that relationship going? I think that's one of the lifebloods of this organization is our participation with vendors who give us the tools that we need to be able to do our orthodontics in our offices.
Well, luckily, with me going to the courses as the admin role, I've been able to meet those contacts. I've been able to meet the reps with Ortho Arch and with Henry Schein and with Dolphin and John's Dental, and made some great friendships with them. So it's great that I already know them because I already have an established relationship. They have trust in me. If they ever think they need something, they can contact me. So there's really not much of a transition.
There's not much of a transition.
No, because I've already been dealing with them.
You've been dealing with them, and they know you, and so they're very comfortable talking with you on the phone. And you know what's so strange is that I'll call the office, and guess what? I still get you on the phone. You're the executive director, and you're still answering the phone. You're gonna have to learn to have your administrative person answering the phone from this point on. You're the boss now.
That's probably been the hardest thing, is giving up some of the things that I've always did, because I feel guilty of letting go, and I catch myself, I'll do that. And luckily our new administrator, Kim, is wonderful, and I'm so excited for her to get to meet everybody and work with everyone, because she'll just come up to me, I'll do that. I'll do that. So
well, Barbara, thank you for being on Orthodontic Smiles. I mean, I'm so proud of you. The board is very proud of you. You've definitely cracked the glass ceiling as far as administrator of the American Orthodontic Society. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
It won't be the last time I'll interview you. I promise you. As time goes on and we've accomplished more, but I thought it was really important for our members and those that listen to Orthodontic Smiles podcast to get a chance to say goodbye to Tom and say hello to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Dr. Brad Williams, and I've practiced orthodontics for over 35 years, and over those years, I've had some fantastic teachers like Dr. Bill Wyatt, Dr. Bob Garrity, Dr. Dave Jackson, and many, many more. And I'm honored now to be teaching orthodontics to a whole new generation of general and pediatric dentists. I want to personally invite you to enroll in one of my basic or intermediate hands-on courses through the American Orthodontic Society. We are committed to provide your entire staff the support and training you need to launch orthodontics in your pediatric or general dental practice. And to make the hands-on experience in my classes the best possible, I've partnered with an outstanding and very ethical company called OrthoArch to provide all the orthodontic supplies my students need. When my students start treating patients in their offices, they too will benefit, as I have, in partnering with OrthoArch for all their orthodontic supply needs. You can contact OrthoArch at www.orthoarch.com. See you in class.
This is your host, Dr. Ed Gonzalez. I want to thank you for listening to Orthodontic Smiles today. If you enjoyed our broadcast, please click the subscribe button. We'll be in touch with you in the future about our further broadcasts. Thanks for listening.